Hello, hello. Welcome to Actors Anonymous Podcast. I am your host, Sam Quiche. As always, co-hosting with me is Mr. Jordan Burbank. Jordan, how are you this week?
Always a pleasure. I'm doing good. Doing really good. Crazy busy weeks lately.
Very busy
right?
for me as well.
It's good. Good. Busy is good.
I feel like a machine lately, to be honest with you.
Right? I just can't even, I had, the last week was, every single night was, do this, do that. Well, we shot Tuesday, had a pitch on Wednesday, had a writer's group on Thursday, had a meeting with you on Friday.
That's it?
Well, I have a full-time job, too, Sam. It's not that.
I've been listening to Bush's Machine Head, some good 90s grunge music lately to kind of get me going. Just thought you should know.
Is that, in the morning?
Yes, very early, 6 a.m.
It's when you're head bobbing and then you're like, motherfucker, in the mirror.
It's not motherfucker. It's good morning, fucker. Our sponsor this week, Cast It Talent. The show is brought to you by Cast It Talent. Cast It is the exclusive partner to Cast It's network of more than 10,000 of Hollywood's top casting directors, producers, directors, and studio execs. And you should definitely check out. Okay, let me just before we really get into stuff. I bit my lip, and it hurts so bad. There's literally a hole in my mouth.
This is going to go well.
Yes, I should have bought Orajel before I came in here, but that just numbs your mouth. So I don't know if that would have helped out.
If there's anyone named Jeffrey, though, I hope that they actually take that term and, when they're serious about something, I'm like, this is definitely happening.
This is definitely happening.
Serious about his life.
There's a great article on Cast's website by Adam Lazar-White. It's called Human Beings Are Animals. And if you've had some extensive training in acting or theater performance, you might have come across animal essences. And this article really hits upon that, and it could be a good tool for you to check out. So check them out on castittalent.com. Our first guest today is Mr. Bill Coelius. Is that the right way to say your name?
Spot on. Well done.
I was a little nervous, but I got it. Bill is an actor. He also teaches Commercial Acting 101 with 41 5-star Yelp reviews, which is pretty impressive. It's not 40.
No, yeah.
It's
we
41.
topped it. We topped it just last week.
That's amazing.
Or that's what my mom said in the phone call.
Bill's credits include Criminal Minds, Modern Family, The Office, Desperate Housewives, Parks and Rec, many more. He also has a movie coming out next year with Tony Hale, correct?
Hopefully, yeah. We don't have a distributor yet. We're going to Sundance, so we'll see how it goes.
It's amazing. Congrats. He also has 49 national commercials underneath his belt, which is extremely, extremely impressive. How long have you been in the business?
I started in New York. That must have been around 2000. So I've been doing it for about 15 years now.
Wow.
So do the math.
That is a working actor if I've ever heard one. Our theme this week is being of service. And if I could just find it on my list here. There it is. Well, what are our jobs as actors? I know, obviously, we tell a story. Is it to entertain? Is it to enlighten people's minds? And I almost started writing an entire thing about this, and I was like, it could be many things, in my opinion. But I wanted just to start off. What is an actor's job, in your opinion, in your years of experience, Bill? I mean, what is it?
That's great. I mean, that's a great opening question and completely difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so vast, and I think that really is a great compass for everybody, right? What is my job when I walk into the room? What is my job? And that's kind of confusing because job also means work. Job also means paycheck. Job means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Absolutely.
For me, I have found, and what I feel led me to those 49 spots, and still what kind of guides me today, is the main idea is, for me, is that the job is the work. And by work, I mean, what are you doing in those rooms, and how do you walk into those rooms, and what are you presenting there?
Right.
Because we don't have any control over whether we work. I mean, when was the last time that you walked back into an audition and tapped the director on the shoulder and was like, "You're hiring me"? And they were like, "Bill, thank you. I almost forgot. I was so close." We have no control. I don't care what kind of life coach you have. We have no control over whether we work or not. No control.
That's a great point. Control, because whenever people don't have control, they kind of get scared.
That's terrified. Right?
I'm actually taking a Wing Chun class, which is a type of kung fu.
God bless you. What?
Yeah.
Kung fu.
Yeah. And it's all about
learning the lyrics to the song. Right?
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that control aspect is pretty nerve-wracking. So, I mean, what are you in control of when you walk in the room?
That's right. I mean, and what is control ultimately? Like, what does that mean to you? I mean, when it's nice to have control of your car, it's nice to have control of your finances, it's nice to have control of your bodily functions, right? That's all good. But like, what do you mean by control in your career? It's like, what do you have control over as an actor? And what I have found is this idea of service, basically asking the question in the room, how can I help? And not necessarily genuflecting to, let's say in commercials, like to the great advertising god and being in fear of that and kowtowing to them. It's more like being present in the moment to recognize what is needed now. Asking that question, how can I help now? How can I help now? Because there's no way that we could possibly be present to that moment if we ourselves are in fear-based thinking. Oh my God, no one here looks like me. Everyone looks like me. I haven't booked in a while. Is this shirt right? You know, I bit my lip. How's this gonna come out? All of that is set aside when our only question that we need to ask is, am I present now? And am I asking that question, how can I help? And am I actually listening to that answer?
It's so freeing when you do that, by the way.
It's the best, right? Because that's our only job. If that's your only job, if you really only have one job in that audition room, and that's just to ask, how can I help, and to actually listen to the answer, I found it so incredibly freeing. And you get, as they say, you get out of your own way, whatever that means, but you get to focus on one specific thing and you become laser and your work just flies.
Just to clarify, I'm curious, is like, when you say, how can I help, do you legitimately mean you ask them that specific question?
Great question. Absolutely not.
That's what I
right?
was gonna
Because
say.
it terrifies them, right? If you walked into a room and you'd be like, hey guys, how can I help? Be like, get him out of this room immediately. Because it's not a language that they speak. But in my class, what we teach is asking that question along every step of the way. How can I help in my slate? How can I help in my copy breakdown? How can I help in my callback? How can I help outside the room, inside the room, and how can I help on the set to help ensure a future job? And like, let's say slate, for example, like 99% of the actors out there are slating in fear. What they do is that they say their name and then they instantly evaluate. Bill Coelius. Oh God, that was weird, right? It's that internal thought.
Right.
And the camera picks up on our thinking. And therefore, we now look and smell and taste like everybody on the other side of that camera because they're terrified because they don't know if this spot's going to work or not. And
There's a
now
lot of money on the line.
Yeah.
That too,
Yeah, totally.
No, I was just going to say I recently had an experience like that where I was lucky enough, me and Nikki actually. Nikki is running their soundboard. Does your mic work right now, Nikki? Is it on?
Now it does.
We were actually very lucky to take Bill's class through Stagecoach, our mutual representation. And
Long Hail Stagecoach.
Long Hail Stagecoach. Steve Smith.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to take it, and we went through the first 10 of your 101 acting tips,
Right.
which were extremely beneficial. And
Right.
there were universal truths in there that have been echoed through past guests we've had on the show about auditions, bookings, acting in general, and also through my personal experiences.
Uh-huh.
And I think the more you work as an actor, the more you're able to, if you're aware and you have that sense of awareness, not only with yourself, but with other people, you begin picking up and like, oh, I've heard this before somewhere. Why am I hearing it again? Okay, I've heard this a 5th time now. What am I not picking up that I from the first time?
Yeah.
So one of the cool things is, and this is an application, I'm not just saying this because I'm promoting you or like you're on the
But
show.
you can if you want to. That's fine.
No, but I'm honestly saying this. I was in a commercial audition where the runner of the audition, you can tell he was having a bad day. And okay, this is actually I have to tell you something that happened right before. The most embarrassing thing happened to me in an audition. I did the most amateur thing you could possibly imagine, and I felt like such an idiot, a goober. I mean, like I was just like, well, there you go. This is what happened on. There's a very big, well-known casting place in Santa Monica that does a lot of commercial auditions. And so I walk in and I'm reading the list of auditions for the commercials, and there's like different companies. I'm like, oh, there's my company, what studio it's in. Okay, great. Go in there. I sign up. The casting director goes, hey, everybody, let's have everybody inside. I go in there and I'm feeling like I'm comfortable. You know what I mean? I'm comfortable. You know, I got a little bit of swagger. It's not confidence, but you know, I mean, it's not like cocky, but it's just
you're present.
I'm present.
Yeah.
I'm happy here. I want to be of service. So I see a guy in there. I'm like, oh, hi, man. Nice to see you again. I recognize you, and like I'm happy. And then he's like, okay, guys, let's start pairing up. You, and I'm like, pairing up? I don't look like any of the guys in this room. Okay. And so he pairs me up with this woman. I'm like, hi. And then he says the name of he's like, everybody here for, I'm not going to use the actual name, Mountain Dew. And I'm like, yeah. No, I'm not here for Mountain Dew. And he starts going into the description. I'm like, Sam, say something. You say something. Why aren't you saying anything? He's telling you what to, and I'm nodding. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll definitely do that. This is not the right audition, Sam. Leave the room. Finally, like halfway through his explanation, I'm talking about like 2 minutes in, I go, sorry to interrupt. I'm in the wrong room. And then half jokingly, half serious, the casting director goes, well, get the hell out of here then.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah,
you're right. He's
yeah.
like, he's like kind of bewildered. He's like, who are you auditioning here for? I'm like, oh, I'm auditioning for that room. Like, I look like a,
Just
again,
trying to see what was
like,
happening in here.
He's like, well, get in there because he's already giving the description. I'm like, yeah, you got it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like red in the face.
That's the best.
I'm like got the cold sweats.
Yeah.
And I start signing up for the other audition.
You could have got 2 in there. You was just
right
on the first one.
Well, you know what you always say when you leave those situations? My name is Lou, by the way.
Give him a completely.
Yeah.
Lou Smith.
I scratched out my name so bad.
Yeah.
Like it went through the other
Hole in the
paper.
paper.
Yes. So I go into that room and I'm already like, I'm not on my A game.
right.
But the guy running the audition is not having a good day.
Right.
And I'm like, oh crap. Now I haven't heard that. He's like, have you heard the description? And I'm like, no. He's like, did you read the breakdown? I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, you'll be fine. I'm like, okay, you know what? And it was at that moment I remembered your class. And it's like, you know what? I just want to be of service.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to be present in the moment and just react onto whatever's happening.
If anything, I'll just do what they told me to do in the Mountain Dew commercial.
All right?
But that I think is a key importance too of like knowing how to answer the question on your own of how to help this project is a huge part in like knowing the control that you have over the scenario, like over the audition, which, you know, you think about what we were just saying earlier about control is that everyone's afraid of it because they don't know how much they have of it. But if you really know how much control you can have within a certain situation, you have to also you should try to feel more comfortable in the fact that you don't have control over all these other things. And that should be like a breath of relief, in my opinion.
It is.
It's a lot to get to that point, I'm sure.
It is. Just to let you know, for that audition, I got a call back.
Rocked it.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And I left thinking that was the worst audition I've ever had in my life.
Interesting.
Because I didn't feel prepared, but I lived in the moment.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
It's funny what we make up, right?
Do you think slating for like a commercial especially is something that takes you out of your character? Because usually you walk in prepared to do the role, but when you were saying when people slate with like commercial, it's like they automatically just, if they don't do it the way they want to, they're pulled back. Like,
kind of. I mean, we in class we spend a lot of time on slate because slate's your first handshake, it's your business card, it's your first introduction as to who you are. And like I said, like, you know, so many actors are blowing that first moment because they're already either in the future about their audition or they're in the past about, oh my God, I was in that Mountain Dew commercial and this is never going to work out. And what am I doing here? And so forth and so on. But we spend a lot of time on, there's an actual technique to slate where you're speaking to a stranger who is our future boss. We don't know who they are yet. And we're asking them, how can I help? And we're visualizing because the whole idea is about, we study a lot about what are we thinking in the room. And is that a fear-based thought or is it a service-based thought? Now, whether you're slating in character and all that sort of thing, I feel like our only job in slate is to slate in service. To let them know, look, I'm an actor that you can trust. I'm an actor that is just here to help. You know? And if I'm like in my NCIS audition or whatever, and I'm the killer psychiatrist or whatever, I slate as Bill Coelius in service. And then I turn into that character for my audition. But in the beginning, I want them to know, look, this is an actor that you can trust. I'm completely present here and I'm ready to help. What do you need?
You don't want to go in as that character.
Yeah, I'd be like,
I'm Bill.
I'm Bill Coelius. I'll slit your throat. Worst nightmare.
Well, it's sort of like, it seems like the slate is almost like the resume to an actor. Like you have to make sure it looks good. It's like it's delivered properly before the audition, or like almost like the interview.
And like Malcolm Gladwell writes in this book, Blink, he talks about how we make decisions about people, places, and things within the first 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Like everyone makes a decision. Boom, boom, boom. And that's our slate. Boom. So are you walking through that gate, or are you putting up a gate as far as what's happening in their minds? Are you just there to help, or you need this job? Because true service is not asking for anything in return. It's not how can I help and when are you going to give me a little something in return. It's how can I help. My man Wayne Dyer, right? He just died recently, that beautiful bald-headed man. You should read his stuff. He's on PBS all the time.
I'm sorry, what's his name?
Wayne Dyer.
Wayne Dyer, okay.
Dyer. He just died like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And he worked tirelessly to be an optimist. I mean, he was just incredible. Big motivational speaker and all that sort of thing. But he talks about this concept of the world as a mirror, and whatever you are saying to the world is saying back to you. So basically it's like, how can I help? The world is saying back to you, well, how can I help you? But if we're saying, how can I help, and when am I going to get a little job for that help? The world is saying, and how can I help you? But you got to keep giving and giving and giving and giving, and that is exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people get burnt out. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't do this anymore because the job becomes the thing, and it's not the thing. It's the service.
It's an extremely disciplined mindset to have too.
Yeah.
You really have to take your ego out of that.
Yeah.
Which for many of us is extremely difficult.
All of us.
And everybody has, some sort of sense of entitlement when they first start in this business. I feel like, oh, maybe I deserve this, or I've worked hard enough for this. And I think it has to be washed away because our perspectives on life in general is just so narrow.
Yeah.
So who are you to say you deserve something? You know what I mean?
Well, one thing that's always a good guideline for my importance, at least in the commercial industry, is that during a SAG meeting, someone broke down the financial elements of each commercial budget. And do you know what the actor gets paid, the percentage of that budget?
Nope.
2%.
Wow.
You are as important as 2% of this whole entire production. That's how important the actors
from the
are.
financial perspective.
From the advertiser's perspective. They're like,
Wow.
yeah, they deserve 2% of what we're doing. So just put that in mind. That's what you're really auditioning for, is 2% of their journey.
Right. I want to go back to the, again, what the actor's job, of service. And, obviously you found this technique, this mindset, this way of doing things, and it works for you. How did you come across to that? I mean, there had to have been some obstacles when you first. It wasn't like
Absolutely.
I'm assuming like you didn't just start off going, "I'm of service."
Yeah, no, sure. No, look. When I was,
right there.
Yeah.
My hands are out.
Yeah,
Christ the
all day.
Redeemer.
Which was hard in New York because you keep bumping into people wherever you go. Right?
Oh, so you started in New York?
I'm a Michigan guy. I moved to Chicago, and then I came out with a show to New York. And how I got started in commercials is crazy. When I was in high school, there was our Chelsea Theater Workshop. Like we had like our local theater company do like a kids camp basically for 2 weeks, and then the kids do a production at the end. One of my students, when I was a high schooler, like little 6th grader, Jessica Caulfield, who had just graduated from University of Michigan and was making her way out to New York, had broken all kinds of Paradigm talent agency where she was at, all kinds of commercial records. Like she booked something like 15 spots in a month. It was crazy. My dad was the high school drama teacher of our school, so he also had her as a student as well. And tell me if this gets very confusing, because it's already confusing. But she called my dad while she was doing so well and said, "So how's Bill also doing out in New York? I heard he's out here as well." And I was doing downtown theater and had never even thought about doing commercials and all that kind of stuff. And I think he's doing good out there. He doesn't have an agent or anything. And so the next day, as a favor to the Star Girl, I'm meeting the agents of Paradigm, and I get lucky and I book one, and then I sign with them, and I've been with them ever since.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was a completely random way on how I started. And in tandem with that, I also was taking a class called The Spiritual Psychology of Acting by this guy named John Osborne Hughes, who's absolutely brilliant, and he's a Brit. He's around my age. He's a DJ. He's like an incredible teacher.
What's that name again?
The Spiritual Psychology of Acting
All
by
right.
John Osborne Hughes. He comes out to LA every now and then. He'll be out here in October. And he has this incredible system of evaluating yourself. Because there's a new, I'm jumping all over the place, but
Awesome.
the foundation of it is that there's the neurological study that we process data in pictures, 5 sensory pictures. Like, this is how we process our memories. This is how we process what we think is going to happen in the future. And this is also how we process what's happening in the moment. For example, like incredibly shy people have the pictures of being rejected as soon as they open up their mouths, which creates a shrink, which is confusing to us when we're meeting shy people because we have no intention of slapping them in the mouth when they speak. So why we pick up on the vibes of other people, which are pictures.
Very interesting.
Well, for example, like think of the last piece of food that you put in your mouth. Yeah?
Okay.
Do we have that? What was it?
Hero.
Okay, great. Now, did you see that hero or did you see yourself eating the hero?
Oh, I just saw the hero.
That's right. It's from our perspective. I call it first-person shooter thinking. Like in the video game, we never see the soldier running over the hill with the gun. We see from his perspective.
Right.
This is how we process our memories. And if you look to your own experience, and it's in all 5 sensory pictures. This is also how we process what we think is going to happen in the room. We want to be very careful about phrases like, I knew that was going to happen. This always happens to me. Because we have pictures for everything. The world is blank. People are blank. Actors are blank. My career is blank. All told in pictures.
It's really interesting. That's kind of an acting technique, core belief. Are you familiar with it?
No.
It's basically like what I like to do and what I learned in college. Whenever you're developing a character, you got to find their core belief throughout the play. And it might be like 2 or 3, but there has to be a core belief.
Beautiful.
And that's their perspective on the world.
That's right, which
So-
I would argue is created by pictures. We all have a core belief because of our experiences, which aren't necessarily true. It's just repetitious thinking that we've made it to be true.
Oh, that's
We
so
think something like 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, which are pictures. And due to that repetitious thinking, we now take this to be true and then create that energy to find that truth in our
so
real
cool.
life.
That like blew my mind right now. I'm like literally like assessing, being like, wow, no, I need to. That's like almost like a mantra. Like you can apply that to everything.
That's absolutely right. So in class, I'm always asking the question, what did you see right there? What did you think was going to happen? Because the brain can only work off the pictures it's given. It can only act on the pictures it's given. I knew that was going to happen. Well, why?
Right.
You
Right.
should walk around with a mirror everywhere I go.
So that's what I learned from John Osborne Hughes, and it was incredibly valuable to me in my auditions. And that's when this idea of what are the pictures that I'm having in the room? What do I see happening in this room? And I saw directors rejecting me. I saw producers not hiring me. And I saw all of the stuff that was getting in my way. And I also began to see how everyone else in this room was terrified. Because once you start looking at your own pictures,
Right.
you begin to see the others' pictures as well, very
Absolutely.
easily.
Yeah.
And you begin to see what people are thinking. You just pick up on it. And I was like, wow, these guys are actually terrified. They may be on their cell phones, they may be on their laptops, they may be eating that lox and bagel and what have you, but they're terrified because they don't think this is going to work. So then I started thinking, well, what do you do with people like that? Like, what do I do when I'm terrified? What do I do when I'm absolutely worried that this isn't going to work out? I'm just looking for a friend. I'm looking for someone who can help. So I started to approach the rooms like that. What do you guys need? I don't care if I get this job or not. What do you need? And it became easier for me, to be selfishly true. It was like, wow, this is so much easier. This auditioning is great. And my booking rate went up. And I was like, wow, this is insane. Because we now look and smell and taste unlike anything they've seen that day.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I'm curious on a level of, it might be a little bit on the side of that, is as a actor who is wanting to do commercials, what is there a different approach in booking an agent or a manager that you might have a perspective from, or like, because I know that there's a difference between theatrical versus commercial, and there's a lot more. I feel like and that, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot more commercial representation out there,
Oh,
but it
interesting.
may not. Do you feel like there's a way that someone can approach finding an agent?
Well, I'm going to back up for a second, but let's talk about
Sorry.
that definitely. But, it is also one of my beliefs that there is absolutely no difference between commercial and theatrical acting. Good acting is good acting.
Yep.
Bad acting is bad acting. I was in
Agreed.
Yeah, right.
You know, I agree. Yeah.
I was in a Law and Order audition once back in my early days in New York, where if you were in New York and you did not do a Law and Order audition, you were like, oh God, I got to get on Law and Order because everybody's on Law and Order, right? But I was in this audition and the director was like, so Bill, what have you been doing? What acting have you been doing recently? And I was like, I just booked 4 national spots this month. And he was like, no. What acting have you been doing? And I was like, wow, this guy has no idea what I do. Do you realize that I create an imaginary circumstance that I take to be real? Let's say I love this water, this delicious bottled water, and in this commercial, I actually love this water. And I have the pictures that feed that real emotion, so therefore, while people watching this take that to be true. How is that any different than me playing a king and my kingdom about to be usurped and my family coming over the hill with the raging army and me living under these imaginary circumstances? It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same technique. In my theatrical class, which I teach, all it is about picture selection. What's interesting about commercials, though, is that the pictures that you choose, the conflict in commercials is going to be resolved in 30 seconds or less with a product. So the pictures aren't really that deep. Now, in our NCIS auditions, we are asked to reach the deepest of our emotional responses, which all have to do then with the gradation of the picture. But all the pictures that we choose have to give us some result. In commercials, it's a different result than the NCIS audition, but it's still picture selection.
It goes back to living in the moment, being present there.
Yeah. What is needed now? What pictures are needed now that help give me this reaction? So that said, I've only had 2 agents in my entire career, commercial agents. That one that I got through Jessica at Paradigm, and then KMR out here in Los Angeles. And I choose my agents basically on the premise of, do I trust them? Do they have the pictures of sending me out? So I don't have to be that actor if I haven't been sent out in 3 weeks. What's going on? I'm on the phone. I go, Instead, I trust you to do your job and you trust me to do my job. Like, I'm going to have to disappear to New York to teach for 2 weeks, which I absolutely have to do because it's a passion of mine and I love it and I got to do it. And they recognize that. They trust me. They're not going to make any money off that. But it's the relationship that we have.
Yeah.
We absolutely trust each other. Now, to find those agents, how do you go about it, right? I actually have a theory on I have a practice on how to find it.
That's okay. You don't have to talk about it. We have probably listeners going.
You guys. I'll talk to you later. It's great.
What are you doing?
I'm not going to tell you. It'll be a secret.
I gotta go. Here's how I found Stagecoach. Here's how I found all hail mighty Steve over at Stagecoach.
He's gonna love this.
Yep. Who's great, by the way. I love him. I think he's great. And here's how we found him.
He's all right. It's only kidding.
You want to make a list. First off, find a place of gentle contemplation, which is where all service arises from. Service arises from stillness and silence. The silence that has been and the silence that always will be and the silence that is here now. All thought comes from a place of that stillness and silence. So you want to find a place of gentle contemplation. And you want to make a list of every actor that you know in Los Angeles. Hopefully that's a pretty in-depth list.
Yes.
Every actor, no matter how tenuous the link. That guy I bartended with that one time, that friend of Joe's, that friend of Jill's.
Right.
People in my class, whoever that may be. Hopefully that list is pretty extensive. Then take a day, walk away from that, and then for the next week after that, like a librarian on crack, try and find contact information for every single person on that list. Twitter, email, Facebook, whatever. As long as you can reach out to them in some manner, okay? Phone number. If after that week of being a librarian on crack and you can't find any contact information, off the list, okay? Then, with the people that you do have contact information with, reach out to them with the following questions. Hi, this is Bill. You know me from blank. I have 2 questions for you. 1, do you have commercial representation? And 2, are you happy with them? Are you happy with them? Because as we know, short is the line of actors who are happy with their representation because we love to play that game, My Horrible Career. And usually the engine of that career is that damn agent. If they answer no to any one of those 2 questions, no, I don't have rep, or no, I'm not happy, off the list. That should dramatically reduce that list.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So now you have a pretty thin but very laser-focused list. You return back to those guys with the next following letter. Thank you for answering those questions. I'm looking for commercial representation, and I was wondering if you would help me in the following 3 ways. And then give them 3 levels of buy-in. 1, I'm going to send them my material in a week. Would you just let them know that it's arriving? Pretty easy thing to do. 2, next level of buy-in. Or would you give them my material? Would you hand over my by 10 with your thumbs up?
Mm.
And then the third, deepest level of buy-in, would you help facilitate a meeting? Would you actually reach out for me and help me get a meeting with these guys? Okay? Then the most important part of this whole entire process, and this is where people drop the ball, what can I do for you in return? How can I serve you? With a true intention. Give them an example of your wheelhouse. I make great cookies. I'm still babysitting for the guy who introduced me to Steve.
Wow.
Okay? Let me buy car gas for you for a month. What's your favorite restaurant? Let me buy you dinner for 2. Really commit to the idea of service for the people who are helping you.
And that's one of the crucial things that you have to keep in mind for networking. Like, that's also the benefit of reaching out to all those people too, I feel, is that so you wind up connecting to 10, 15 people you don't know.
Right.
And if you can create that network, like that relationship and continue that relationship.
That's right.
Who knows where they're going to help you out down the line, or you can help them out down the line, and
That's
it becomes
right.
a long-term relationship.
That second part is that's what you need to focus on. How can I help you? How can I help you?
And
How can I help you?
If you become a resource for other people, I feel like it's more than if you were trying to do something for yourself to get people to recognize you.
That's right.
Because if you help other people, they're going to talk about you. Oh, I used so-and-so. They shot this for me. It was great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's
Absolutely.
all goodwill. It's all goodwill.
Becomes a fellowship.
It's great.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. We are running out of time, but before we go, if we haven't already talked about it, or maybe you want to reiterate it, if there's one piece of advice that people leave with today, what would you say?
You have no control over whether you book. Know this. Sorry, I don't care what kind of life coach you have no control over whether you book. But all you have control over is, am I here now? And what is needed from these guys right now? How can I possibly help? That, and men always wear black socks to set, and women always wear flesh-colored underwear. That's just what I've been doing.
Bill, thanks so much for coming on the show.
So awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
If people want to find you on the interweb, where can they check you out?
It's very simple. Commercialacting101.com. Put a www in front of that. That's there's more. There's all the stuff about the philosophy of the class. You can sign up for all the available classes. There's actually 3 levels to the class, which were created by need from the students. The first level, it's a shotgun of information. There's literally 101 things to learn. I mean, they might as well just call this class 101 mistakes Bill has made, because that is how I've learned. But there is 101 things to learn. Level 2 is all about putting it in your bones and making it natural, so that we're not pretending to be good at this. We're great.
That's awesome.
We also learn a meditation that helps set the intention of service. And in the 3rd level, we run it like a real-time audition. So if you're interested in auditing, because auditors play directors, assistants, producers, and all the students get run through real-time auditions.
That's great.
Students say they get more nervous in that class than they do in real-time auditions, and that's kind of the point. We don't want to be good at this. We want to be great.
Absolutely. Before we kick you out of here.
Before you are forcibly removed from this room.
Nikki, do you have any positive or things to say about the class, or things you got out of it?
I loved it. I'm taking it tomorrow.
That's what I'm talking about.
I signed up. I'll be there Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Perfect.
It
I'm
really,
so excited.
It really is. I mean, me and Nikki talked about it afterwards. It was one of the.
It just resonated with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
The
Well, good.
lemonade helped.
Right? Lemonade
It
is
was great
always good.
lemonade.
now I'm going.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with Ruba Wilson.
Thanks, guys.
Put a flavored condom on your head because your mind is about to get blown.
High school is over.
Blackout party at the beach, bitches! You're legit popular.
Ah, Maddie f***ing McKevin.
You have to tell her.
I still want to be with you. You still want to be with me?
Welcome to the Enchanted Fantasy Prom. Be sure to sign up for the raffle. You could win a rainbow.
Awkward. Season 5 premiering August 31st at 9/8 Central. Only on MTV.
Cast at Talent is pleased to support Actors Anonymous. Cast at Talent, for more than a decade, we've been working to make sure that the right actor has the opportunity to compete for the right job and has the right online tools to pursue that job. The Cast at Talent online showcase, Gig Finder, major open calls like Star Wars and Jungle Book, and feedback by Cast It certified casting pros within 24 hours. CastAtTalent.com, @CastAtTalent, and Cast at Talent on Instagram or Facebook. Hashtag right actor, right job.
And we are back. Are we back? Are we back?
Did that happen?
Oh, we're back.
We
have a super fun guest with us.
Oh,
He wears a million hats. And he actually has a cool hat on right now, which I might actually ask to wear towards the end of the interview.
You can totally like wear it. I don't have a big head. I have a lot of hair. I have big hair, so.
Well, I have a big head, so it'll work out fine.
Oh, nice. Look at that. Look at that, yo. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Of course. This is Ruba Wilson. He is an on-air personality, a singer, a model, a pioneer for young media journalists. He is the creator and writer and director of Ruba's World, where he has generated millions of viewers by capturing the essence of fashion, music, and celebrities from a youthful perspective. He's on Awesomeness TV. You have a show called I Met with Ruba, right?
In Bed with Ruba.
In Bed with
Yes.
Ruba. Woo!
No, it's all good.
In bed?
I forget it all the time.
No,
I'm like, who am I today? Really?
In Bed with Ruba.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
Ooh, yeah.
I have a question about that.
You have the #1 reality show on the OWN network, the Oprah Winfrey Network, called Flex and Shanice, correct?
Shanice, yeah.
Shanice.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible, man.
Thanks, man.
What else do you do? You're like the Elon Musk of of hosting and journalism.
I don't know what that means, but it may be a good. I hope it's a good thing.
You're doing a lot of things, and
thank you, man. I need to fix this mic.
Oh,
Don't judge
fix
me,
it.
You know.
If you hear weird...
and I do tech work as well.
You do tech work as well.
That works. Whatever.
Is that working?
Yeah, it works. I'm good.
Oh, we'll adjust
Is it falling?
It's falling.
It's falling a little bit.
Don't go limp, buddy. Come on now.
That's what she said.
Here
We can do this. Teamwork.
I think.
Okay. Here we go.
My goodness. We're good.
Yeah.
Ruba, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank
first
you
of all.
for having me. I love you. You're the best in the West.
Keep going.
Your hair,
he's all right.
your skin is glowing. Those eyes, I can just get lost. No.
Well,
Cue the music.
cue the music.
Violence.
I think being of service, this is our theme for this episode. And we
Uh-huh.
just had a commercial acting teacher and an actor on the show called Bill Coelius. And we talked a lot of being of service. And with your artistic outlets, how do you feel like you're being of service to your community of artists and people in general?
You know what's so crazy? The thing I love about hosting is that you get, or hosting, singing, you get to connect with people.
Mhm.
And in my case, I get to connect with a young audience. And I love that so much because I feel like I'm freaking a 13-year-old girl all the time. It's really, really sad, but don't judge me. But I really get to feel like I get to instill the things that I've learned throughout the years to them at such a fragile, for lack of a better word, a fragile stage in their lives. You know what I mean? Because they see people and they're like, oh my God, I want to be just like that, and you don't have to. Because I grew up looking at people like, oh my God, I want to be just like them. Like, I hate what I am and I hate my hair. I hate my name. No one ever told me that I was good enough. You know what I mean? Not to get like sappy or anything.
No.
I think sometimes, especially if you get to be in somewhat of a position to be able to translate those things to people who are watching you. So I just feel like by me being me, I think it kind of, conveys the message, I think.
That's amazing.
So.
Have you had any specific people get back to you and tell you about these things, or like users who?
Yeah, that's funny that you actually mentioned that. Obviously on YouTube and Instagram, you get all these messages from people, and I got a message from this guy in South Africa, and he said, in where I live, being, I don't like any labels, but he just said being the person that he is, it's looked down upon where he is. And from watching my show, he felt like he can truly just be himself. And I was like, I tried to condense this. I gave you like the Cliff Notes version of it. Of course. But he literally like spilled his heart out to me and was like, thank you for being you. You made me just want to just do me, and that's it. And I was like, oh my gosh. Just I didn't even know that I was doing that until
that's incredible. That's so important, I think. And I'm a firm believer of this, especially in auditions, especially. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
No one else can do you better than you.
That's like the beautiful
Preach.
part about I think online programming especially is like a lot of people start off with doing stuff on their own and then they get picked up by networks and everyone and there's a lot of there seems to be like a lot of like industry either confusion or a little bit of hate too on like what YouTube is, and I only got started like in the past 6 months in online content, but I have such a respect for a lot of people that really just express their personality to be able to have a platform to let other people feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's definitely a job in itself. A lot of people look at it like, oh, it's the internet. You just click a button and put up a video. That's it. No, there's a lot more, to it than what meets the eye. So
can we go into that? Actually, I would love to know.
Let's do it.
Like, for instance, let's talk about your YouTube show.
So in bed with Ruba.
In bed with Ruba. What is it?
Actually, so funny you mentioned about being started. Getting started about 6 months ago. I officially started online about 6 months ago.
Wow.
I would say. I've always had content on YouTube since it started. That's actually how I got my start in hosting. I posted up a crazy blackmailable video that none of you guys will ever see ever in life.
Oh, we'll find it.
I posted a video up and it got over like 300,000 views. And I was like, is this real? This is like when YouTube first started. I was like, is this real? So I got like messages from people's like publicists and like management and was like, hey, we want you to interview such and such and go on this carpet. And I was like, okay. So from there, it was kind of like how I got my start. But officially 6 months ago was when I got my start. And Glozell, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with her, but she was my first guest on In Bed with Ruba. And the thing I love about it, we were just talking about how, you as, an entertainer, when you get on the red carpet, people may ask you the same questions over and over and over again.
That's right.
So I felt like with In Bed with Ruba, I get to get the real person in their raw form. Like, I don't have time to be like, so what's going on with blah, 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 and this and that and that. I just want to have fun. If they, come on with like, hey, I want to do this. Let's wax your legs for the first time. I am down. Like, it's all about the experience and making the fans into friends. And I hate saying fans because it's such an antiquated term to me. So I want, the people who are watching it to feel like, oh my God, Weesum is my best friend now. I freaking love him. He freaking waxes, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean?
You have been waxed. You have been waxed on TV, right?
Oh yeah, I have been waxed on TV on Awkward before.
Nice.
Yeah, but I already have naturally a smooth chest.
You're
He's
so
like, I'm
lucky.
naturally hairless.
You're so lucky.
Okay, this is kind of a footnote, and we might talk about it if I ever come on your show.
No, you are. It's going down.
I've waxed a certain part of my body, and I stopped about 2 rips in because it was the most painful thing I have ever experienced in my. Why are you making that face?
Wait,
I'm curious. You said a part of my body, so I'm like, what part?
Weesum, you have to own it. I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
I was gonna do a nude shoot. For promo for In Bed with Ruba. And obviously I have family and younger siblings. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. But I was hours away from doing this nude shoot. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a Brazilian. Oh my God. And I did for the first time. And the lady gave me some numbing cream. And I didn't use it. I actually forgot it because I was like in the middle of shooting. And I was like, oh shoot, I just forgot. So I didn't put the numbing cream on. And it was the most painful thing ever in life. And I am probably going to do it again. So yeah.
What an offshoot. What's that?
Wussies.
I know. Don't judge. Don't judge.
Go ahead, Jordan.
In Bed with Ruba, I'm guessing, is it like an interview that you have with people in bed?
Yes. They actually come to my house and get in my bed.
That is amazing. You know what's funny? I literally, before we booked you, I think a week or 2 ago, I was thinking of something that would be a cool talk show, like something different.
Right.
And I was thinking you know what? I wonder if any, because I've seen 7 Minutes in Heaven where they interview in the closet and stuff like that. And I was just like, what an original idea would be to have someone sleep in, come and just sit in your bed and have an interview. It's so personal. That is so crazy that you're on the show right now. And I thought about that
it's insane. It's all about,
it's got to be so much fun.
It's super fun. I have so much fun. I think it's cool because you get to just be yourself in bed and
Mm-hmm.
talk about the things that you like, and they can bring their favorite snacks. I can bring my favorite snacks and just sit there and talk for
Netflix and chill with all your guests.
Exactly. Honestly,
wait.
it's the most fun I've had.
Netflix and chill, or just Netflix and chill?
Wait a minute, I actually heard that. I actually just found out that Netflix and chill is like code for something else.
Yeah,
It's like come over to my house and
it's
Oh,
it's
no,
the modern
right?
day. Hey, you want to come over and watch a DVD?
I didn't know it until like a week ago
Oh,
either. I was
okay.
like, oh, you get to just like that's what I do on a Friday night.
Oh, you
Nope,
mean it
it's
literally-
not what I do on a
Oh,
Friday
yeah.
night all the time.
Especially
Yeah,
if you get that
definitely.
text at like 1 a.m.
Oh,
You
so
know- you know
it's
what's up.
definite. Yeah,
You know
for
what's up.
sure. I get it. I get
So-
it.
I gotta ask you.
Okay.
You've obviously been hosting like this for how many years?
I've been doing this since I was 17.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
you've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
How has this changed you as a person, like doing all this stuff? Because you've gotten to meet some amazing people.
Mhm.
You've gotten to have had some amazing talks on camera and off camera,
Right.
and that's got to change you to a certain extent for the better. I'm assuming.
Yeah, definitely for the better. And it's so funny. About a week ago, I looked back at some of like my early footage, and I was like, I cannot watch this. Like, I was watching it and taking notes, like, God, why are you doing that, Ruba? No. So yes, it has definitely changed me for the better. I've learned to become a better listener. You know what I mean? And I remember like first jumping into this whole hosting thing, and I took a few classes, and the instructor was like, you have to listen. I'm like, whatever, I listen all the time. I'm listening to you right now.
Right.
But no, listening is so
Oh my
important.
gosh.
It's so crucial.
I'm so glad you said that when we first started the podcast.
Yeah.
And like I remember the first episode we recorded,
Mhm.
it was just it's such a difficult job to host and to have like a guest on, because you're like okay, next question.
Yeah.
Like you're shuffling papers.
No, it's so true. But I think the questions just disappear if you're listening. You're just like in
Yes.
the moment. You're like, oh, so what you said about blah blah blah. That makes me think of this next question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just flows better. Post like, oh my God, I'm stuck to my paper. You become a prisoner.
Right.
You know? So
That was a
just
gradual
listen.
process then.
Oh yes.
This didn't happen like
It didn't happen overnight. I think the more I watch myself, and as much pain as it caused to me to watch myself, I learned. And I was like, ew, I don't like the way I'm looking there, and I don't like what I said here or how I did that. So, I became my own, I guess, critic. And, I think you become your worst. So
Yeah.
it helps motivate you.
It's funny too with the show. We always send out like prelim questions to you guys, and we've had some people come back who are, like I'm always just like, it's organic, we like to just have a conversation. And
Right.
some people message me back and they're like,
I'm
I filled out all my answers, and I'm like, if that's
Oh, bless their heart.
if that's what you do to prepare, that's awesome. But they
Right.
were like, let me know if you need anything else from me. I was like, no, you didn't have to do that.
Bless
like
their
we
hearts.
love to just have you on the show and just
Right.
talk. Like, but
Aw.
it's like really funny when people just go on the list of like filling out
I
all
love
of
it.
their questions.
I love that. That is pretty classy. You get an A
yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grade this
with the sticker.
spelling grammar notes and then just send it back. Here's your A. Do you want to try for an A plus?
Right.
You can reissue
Right.
it to me.
That's a mess. But yeah, so I definitely learned.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What if you can talk about it on air? What's been some of your biggest struggles, like putting on all this content? Because technically, maybe sometimes that could be a struggle, or like maybe certain projects you start and
Ooh.
they tank, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Or
You know what's so funny? Oh God, I feel like everything you're saying is all coming full circle. I just had a conversation with somebody yesterday about all of this.
I know they
and-
told me, that's why I was.
Really? No way. What's up,
We've been
Simon?
following you. That's how we do this.
You guys are following me? I kind of wondered. Yeah. Anyway, I had like a million thoughts right now. I was like, I'm
We
not
hire
going
a
there.
PI to go out a week before we get you on the show.
I guess so. Little.
It's a big part of our budget.
I love that. So I would say I was talking to this guy named Simon, and he was saying how he's so meticulous with what he puts out, and he shot a few things, and I hope I'm not throwing him under the bus or anything, but he was just saying how he'll shoot something and he'd be like, nah, I'm over it. It doesn't meet my expectations. I was there, and I'm still kind of there in that mindset, but I feel like content is so instant. It's just on top of each other. You can't get too consumed with, oh my God, it's not perfect. Because what if it is perfect to your standards and you put it up and it doesn't perform the way that you would hope it would? So you feel like, in a sense, you've kind of wasted some time. I don't believe in wasting time, but if that hits home, then whoop, there it is. But for me, I look at it and I feel like, for the most part, if it meets overall my standards, I'm putting it out. And if it does well, great. If it doesn't, on to the next. people are going to eventually find it, and it's new to them. It may be old to you, but it's new to them. So that's my outlook on content. And
I think that's really important though, because I'm sorry, did you?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, to branch off that, do you think it's important then, whenever somebody starts online content, for instance, there's a reason why they're doing it. It's not like an important reason. For instance, you need something for an actor. Let's take it from the acting perspective. Like, okay, I need something where I can put together a reel.
Right.
Okay, maybe I'll start this like web channel or like a web story where I can break it up into 10 episodes. Each one is maybe 2 minutes long. And maybe there's a story I want to tell. And maybe that can showcase a certain aspect of myself. Because I feel like the things that best succeed on the YouTube front or on any kind of online content is something that you're passionate about.
Of course.
And something that can connect with people. And passion, I think, is what really, really grabs listeners or people at least to be like, you know what? This guy is really important about what he has to say. And I'm going to take a silly example, but I'm going to take a successful example. Okay. Have you heard of the Angry Video Game Nerd?
No, I haven't.
Okay. He started a YouTube channel years ago. He's basically reviewing old Nintendo games.
Oh, wow.
But in a character that's really angry.
Oh, I love it.
And he loves the old nostalgic games.
Right.
But there is that annoyance with them that some of them are just ridiculously hard. You don't know what to do in the game. And you see him, he just like starts cursing up a storm and he's using the weirdest like things. And his first few episodes, if you were to technically look at them, they're like, oh, these are crap. But he kept, like what you were saying, producing content. And then bam, he had a full-fledged movie like a couple years ago funded by other people.
I believe it.
Wow.
I believe it.
Incredible.
So that's my thing. And a lot of people get caught up with the whole, it doesn't fit my brand, or if it doesn't look like my polished brand, then I'm not putting it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every video has a slot in my in my personal opinion. So, just do you and try to do it as best as you possibly can, and whatever you film, put it up. Thank you, and good night.
Well, I think that's important because it showcases, like, especially with like what you do. You said it's all about your personality, getting people to really enjoy it. And no matter what, if people enjoy your personality and that's why they're going to you, you should be able to produce whatever type of content that you want that feels passionate for you, whether it's, and I feel like that's a golden opportunity to make sure you don't get pushed into, like, I've spoken to YouTubers that have started their career and made up a personality and went forward with it, and they're like, I totally regret making this character because they don't I play this really sassy over the top person. No one's gonna listen to me about politics. No one's gonna listen to me about and they want to transition. So if you are true to who you are and you can produce your own content and people like it, you should be able to like segment off into other topics.
I don't see why that could be such a huge problem. In my opinion. So
we have a listener question, if that's okay with you. Promise Endre asks, what's your favorite project and why?
My favorite project? Oh, golly.
You work on a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I love everything. I'm such a big dork. I really do. Everything that I do, I love. If I can do it all day long, I would. Like, the singing, I love. I just released a new single called Kick Rocks, and that was featured on the season finale of my show. And I love doing music. You get to connect with people. I love doing Awesomeness TV because it's a younger demographic, and I identify with them so much. And, seeing them at like VidCon or wherever I may go, it's the coolest thing in the entire world. Or, oh my God, I don't know, doing like a vlog. People get to see me early in the morning and things that I'm struggling with, or my deep thoughts where I'm like crying. I just posted a video when my little cousin was going to high school for the first time, and when she left the car, I was like bawling my eyes out. Like, that's online. Like, I just love sharing my life with people, and I think it's the coolest thing in the world. And years from now, I'm gonna look back and be like, oh my God, like this totally happened. It's the coolest thing, So I love it all.
This is so cool. Like, because Bill was just talking about how whenever you say to the world, how can I be of service? Like, what can I do to help? And like, you're sharing all this stuff and it's coming back to you. And so it's just nice. It's that
I think it's great. I do.
Yeah. It's one of the positives. There's so much negative connotation towards reality television too. And I feel it's gotta be, and it's really sad that also I feel like some of the content pushed out doesn't really help a lot of the general like shows out there, but especially when you're doing something that you can be yourself and you love and you're pushing it forward, it's got to be so exciting. But I wanted to ask you, is there a difference or what is the difference, I guess, between doing the show versus doing your own channel? Is there anything that you love more than the other?
You know what? Both. I would say I'm so thankful for OWN and Oprah. Like, she's amazing. The network is amazing. They get us. And there was a lot of other networks that wanted our show, and we knew that they would have tried to turn us into something that we weren't.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You know what I mean? And OWN got it. We were extremely transparent, and it was done with class.
Yeah.
And that's what I love so much about it, because when I tell people I'm on a reality show, they're like, "Oh," I'm like, I know, I feel the same way. But once you see the show, I can actually look back and be like, okay, I'm proud of that. And it caught us in our good moments and bad moments. And, you know, it just was great. But with YouTube, I just can officially be myself 100%. I'm myself on the show, but the show isn't an hour based around me the entire way through. So if the show was, that's my YouTube channel. The end. You know what I mean?
You know what reality show I really wish they would bring back, and I hope it's back. I hope they bring it back. Made on MTV.
Oh my God,
I feel like that was a very positive reality show because it allowed somebody to
do something that they wanted to do, and they felt like they couldn't.
Yeah,
it's great.
And you saw them struggle through it, and you know every episode had the same format. Like they'd like, this is what I want to do, and then they get open to that world, and then they'd struggle, and then bam.
That's so true. That was so positive.
Yeah.
Oh, don't make me cry. I think I'm on my myriad today.
Like, you're what? Dude, what? Say that again?
I said I think I'm on my myriad today, because like as I was talking, I was just like, oh my God, I'm getting like overwhelmed. Don't judge me.
Is that? No, I'm not judging. I just think that's man period, right?
Yes.
That's
Myriad.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
This is another really good show. I think the thing about it is when there's new networks that are producing new content, they want to be so original, and they can take that. Like OWN hasn't been around; they've only been around for
relatively new.
Yeah, and they've been like working with their content to really push off like what they really want to.
For sure.
And another one that recently started doing that was ABC Family with Becoming Us. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
But
I've seen an episode.
I watched that show and did not know it was a reality show. Like they cut that so well, the editing, the way it's stylized, and it's weird. It's about a boy who his father is transitioning, and his girlfriend, his father has already transitioned.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's such a crazy, and it's just about their entire family and how they're all together. The struggles that the kids deal with, the father deals with, the wife deals with, the ex-wife deals with. But it's such a beautifully the content that's being pushed out, especially towards younger culture, is really riveting. And I'm actually really excited to see your show.
Thank you. Yeah. Make sure you check it out.
Absolutely.
So fingers crossed on the whole pickup of our third season. We should find out very, very soon.
I'll talk with her. It's okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's up?
Yeah, with Oprah. I'll let her know.
Oh, yeah. Please let her know.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
We're friends. We're besties.
Right now. That'd be amazing.
Oprah?
I'm texting her right now.
We'll get her on FaceTime.
You guys are crazy. But yeah, so I definitely would say that's the judge as of now, and it's great, super cool.
Question for you then: Do you have like projects lined up for the next few years, or are you kind of just like working at one thing at a time, or like something that like captures your interest in the moment? And you're like, oh, you know what, this would be good for a project.
I don't have projects like set up, I guess, within the year. Everything that I'm doing, I expect it or know that it's going to get so much bigger. So right now I'm just pushing it and just trying different things, you know? I just feel like if you never try it, you never know what's going to happen. So, you know, just the whole online thing is what I'm pushing and hosting, and, you know, that's just what I'm doing right now. I'm just pushing that thing and trying to be like Bruce Lee, be like water, you know, and eventually something will break. So, yeah.
Hosting's...
And things have broken, so, I mean...
Continue
to break.
No, no, I like that because hosting to a certain extent is kind of like that. You have to be very like water.
Yeah.
And you have to listen. So you have to be like a water monster that listens.
Yes, I like that.
You can go evaporate right now.
Ooh, look at that.
Why?
Because it just sounded like a cool thing to say, so I wanted to say it.
It was like deep shade.
Yeah, right.
It was like a snap, but ooh.
I threw it at you. Bring it back. Bring it.
That's okay.
We're going to fight during the break.
Oh, God. I can't.
Ruba, it's been amazing having you on our show.
Dude, you guys are the best. Like, this is so much fun. Like, I could sit here and, like...
Who's better, Jordan or me?
You guys are both amazing. But Weesum, you're more amazing because, you know...
No,
looking at me with
Nikki's
those
the
eyes.
best. That's
Yeah.
true.
Nikki, all of you guys are so bomb. You guys are just killing the game. I'm not even kidding. Sometimes I can have like a facetious undertone, but it's all true.
That's good to know. I can't wait to be on your show or in your bed.
I cannot wait to have you in my bed. Like, it's going to be pretty
You know
cool.
how insane that episode is going to be? Let me just tell you right now.
I know it's going to be ridiculous.
I'm going to bring some crazy stuff with me.
Oh, God, I'm scared.
Can we call it the Netflix and chill episode?
Oh, you know what? I like that. And we can talk about what the meaning behind Netflix and chill is. I'm not even kidding.
My parents are going to be like, what is this Netflix and chill? What is this?
I'm done.
By the way, they don't even sound that foreign. I always exaggerate it.
But I like that, though. It's fun. It makes me just imagine, some cool things.
Ruba, if people want to find you on the interweb, you're on a multiple things, right?
Oh, God, yeah. Okay, so YouTube is youtube.com/Ruba's World, like Aruba without the A. So Ruba's World, Instagram @Ruba's World, and Twitter it is @IamRuba's World. Yeah, somebody took Ruba's World on Twitter. I hate you. And pretended to be me. It's not nice. I wish I could have it. But so yeah, Ruba's World, Ruba Wilson. Yeah, you can't miss the black guy with ombre dreads.
Oh
yeah.
Can I wear your hat?
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Before we end the show.
Knock yourself out.
Can we put the screen on, or is that going to ruin everything you worked on, Nicole?
The screen?
You can watch it later.
We can watch it later.
Look.
I'll watch it later.
Oh, I like. That's so fun.
I'm going to wear it forever.
Oh, I like it. It looks really good. You have like great hair.
I know, thank you.
You have great hair.
You have great hair. Look at you. How long have you been growing out your hair before we go?
God.
This is totally a side note. But...
Since I was 3, I had my dreads. Yeah.
What?
So it's a full-on relationship.
Oh my goodness. Any plans to cut them?
No, actually, I bleached my hair. I had a great friend bleach my hair. And I bleached my hair before, but it wasn't, my hair was platinum. It's not this at all. My hair was platinum blonde on the tips.
Wow.
And she was like, oh, just, make sure you moisturize with argan oil and things like that daily. And I was like, I'll do it like once. No big deal. You know what happened. My hair started to break and I almost died. So yeah, I just consider that as like a razor trim for me. So no cutting of the hair.
Gotcha. That's understandable. Well, what a great episode this week.
This was great.
This was amazing. Jordan, if people want to find you, where are you at?
Jordan Burbank 7.
Yeah,
I feel
baby.
your pain.
Nikki, where can they find you on the interweb? At Nikki592, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, baby.
Awesome. Thanks for engineering and being our social media czar.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you're
it.
amazing.
Well, you're welcome.
Big thanks to Gabe at GVB. Check him out at gvbstudios.com. And
Is your show on right now?
Oh, yes.
The season finale just ended 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'll keep you guys all posted on when
sure
season 3 comes.
And you can probably watch reruns of the show on OWN, right?
Yeah, on OWN or somewhere on the line.
Just check it out.
Yeah.
On the line. On the online.
Our show this week is brought to you by Cast It Talent. Cast It is the exclusive partner to Cast It's network of more than 10,000 of Hollywood's top casting directors, producers, and studio execs. Be sure to check out Adam Lazar-White's blog post on human beings as animals. And Awkward airs on Monday nights. It's going great.
Yeah,
Some,
baby.
big changes. When will this episode? Yeah, you should check out tonight. Some big things. You might see Kyle on the show. It'll be a big... it's a lot of fun.
It's going to happen.
Kyle's the best, man. He's a riot.
Also, check us out on patreon.com.
Oh, yeah, we're on there
Find
now.
us on
Oh,
there.
Patreon.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's an awesome site. We just started up, so be sure to go over there, check us out, see what perks you could get if you wanted to donate to the show. So we're super excited to have that up.
Yeah, totally volunteer-based, and you get some extra things that our regular...
You can become our
listeners-
best friends.
Yeah, that's very true.
I love
If you want that.
Pamplemousse. They're the best.
Pamplemousse is good.
I love them.
Yeah. Their song Nature Boy is probably one of my favorites.
They're amazing.
It's also a drink flavor.
I didn't know that. I don't drink. No.
Thank you to our listeners.
Seltzer.
We always love hearing from you. And always remember to listen, think, and then talk.